You're watching Lansdowne Raw, the voice of the fans. I'm Martin Prendergast, joined by Conor McAvoy as we catch up on the latest news in Irish football. If you're new to the show, please make sure you subscribe. You can support the show even further by buy us a coffee. I'll throw that up there now. And the link in how to do that is in the description. But we are the voice of the fans. We have a live show every weekend, and we want to hear from you, the Raw faithful. But we thought we'd give you a quick update on how things got on for the boys in green across the water in domestic football, but also in Conference League action, in the domestic league, of course, League of Action, League of Ireland teams. We're in Conference League action, if we can get that out properly. And we also had some representation in the Youth Champions League as well, didn't we, Conor? How are you anyway? I've got you up very early this morning to record this before a proper working day commences so that we can give the Raw faithful a update on how all our boys in green are getting on. How are you?
I'm good. Whilst Dave's probably snuggled in bed right now, telling everyone he needs a day off, we're on the grind, Martin, ahead of a very exciting December, and obviously we've a lot planned, a lot to do, which is going to be very actually interesting, enjoyable for the channel and for our fans. If you'd say we have any fans, maybe we have fans. I don't think Dave does after his antics on these shows. But yeah, it's good. Always good to be back on. And an early morning one that's got me up and ready for the day.
Yeah,
But
this is it.
yeah,
Conor is
what's the crack
basically
with
our student of the channel. We get him up early sometimes, and you know he's a night owl basically. The WhatsApp hops 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's Dave and Conor having a full blown conversation while I'm
no, it's
catching my Z's.
Dave always says I have to get to bed at like 12, and then you see voice notes coming through at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's the issue.
So that's how we do the production of this. But just a quick note as well. Make sure, as I said, like the channel. Make sure you do give us a follow, of course, as well. And Lansdowne Raw Plus, that exists. That's where we do Raw Retro, State of Play, our take on the game across all kind of codes, basically. World Football, Champions League, Premier League. We chat about everything on there, give our views. So anyone who would like to support the channel even further, it's $4.99 a month. How to do so is in the show notes. But we have got some exciting news before we get into the kind of crux of the matter and how we are with the lads getting on over the midweek action. We've got a very important announcement to let our Raw faithful know. And this is that we've got a live event coming up. We're in association with Risk London. As you know, I'm the club chairman of that fantastic supporters club. We're in the Cladder Ring on Thursday. We can't wait for this. This is Ian Hart coming down with us on Thursday, the 4th of December. If you are around the North London area, feel free to just pop in. We've got a fantastic raffle in aid of Copperfield with breast cancer awareness. But we've got Ian Hart on stage with us. He's also going to be doing a bit of work with us on the channel, of course, as well. But yeah, fantastic, very honest, forthright opinion from Ian Hart. Absolute legend. In the top 10, he's in the top 10 all-time free kick takers in the Premier League. Played in La Liga, of course, as well. Played at a World Cup. Played under some fantastic, iconic Irish managers as well. Was inside Pan, was at the World Cup in 2002, worked with Roy Keane, worked with Mick McCarthy. He knows the story on all of that, and we're going to get it out of him on Thursday, the 4th of December. So if you're very welcome to join us at the Cladder Ring. We've got a raffle, as I said, live music as well. It's part of Risk London's Christmas party, but we're opening the doors to everybody because we know it'll be a fantastic night. It'd be great to see you or friends and family in the London area. Perhaps you're over in London Christmas shopping or doing something like that. I don't know if that's a thing that people do anymore, Conor. But if you're over in the London area, make sure pop up to the Cladder Ring. All very, very welcome. And it's another one of our Raw Lives. Conor, you enjoyed that last time. We've now had David Ford. We've had Liam Brady. We've had Ian Hart before with Clint Morrison and Alan Kelly, but we've got him on his own now because he's so good. But you're looking forward to it, Conor? You're off to the big smoke?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it now. It's a start is of a busy this December. It's going to be for us. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We've always have a good laugh with Ian Hart anyway. So it'd be good cracks of a day, and I'm sure he'll have good stories for us. I'm sure even he'll have some stories you can't tell on camera that he'll have for us as well, which is always funny. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it is an in-person one as well. We're not going to record this because we know that we're going to get the stories out of him. And, but I think he said some of these before, but we'll have some questions posed that will really challenge him and get his views on where we are, what he thinks of Irish football. Heimer, are we going to qualify for the World Cup? We know the answer to that. Yes, we are. And this is why Lansdowne Raw exists. So we are the voice of the fans. So you can give us your views as well and your support. Right, Conor, let's talk first of all, Conference League action. a disappointing night overall for the Republic of Ireland teams representing us
The Republic
in
of
Europa.
Ireland team. Say that again. Say that again.
Ireland teams from Ireland, League of Ireland,
Yeah, the
representing us in
Republic of
Europe.
Ireland
Republic
teams.
of Ireland.
Republic of Ireland teams. What are you smoking?
It's too early in the morning. Listen, I've got my
Yeah.
Legends mug here, so I'm on the coffee. You have got me up
But
very
yeah,
early this morning, but go on. Shamrock Rovers, they lost 2-1 to Shakhtar Donetsk, and also Shelburne, they lost, didn't they? 2-0.
yeah, 2-0 to
Is that right?
AZ.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it started yesterday at 5:45 with actually there was quite a bit of Irish involvement in Conference League yesterday, which I'll get to in a sec. But yeah, obviously it was the Parrot against the Shells, and I honestly thought going into the game because there was so much made about the Parrot getting pecked by the Parrot, Shells are going to get pepped. I thought he was going to be on the bench because the reality is, he's always really on the bench in the Conference League because it's kind of
Mm.
it's the third tier competition in Europe, so you play against a lot of teams that you're kind of considered to be a level above, and you would think AZ would have way too much for Shells, no matter who they play. But they still went very strong. Powered played 90 minutes. He didn't really. He was in the game and out of the game. He kind of was coming in and out of it. He had a chance where he probably could have done better with. And he didn't do. He was okay. Like he was grand. Shells marshaled him very well. I thought I was very impressed by Shells. To be honest with you, Shells will probably think, how did they not get out of that game? They defended very well, and when they got the ball, I thought Henry Francis in midfield was exceptional. I thought Harry Wood, when he got on the ball, was very good, and then Meepo up front offered an outlet that was something that they've kind of been missing, really, at times where he's kind of been hot and cold this season. And he's, in fairness to him, he really rose to the occasion. I thought his pace, his power, his hold-up play was exceptional yesterday. And he slipped the ball to John Martin in the second half that had him a chance to make it 1-0 to Shells, and he messed up his touch. And then 2 minutes later, AZ went up to the other end and scored. In fairness, that first goal was outstanding. The ball in the back sick, and then the header, and then the second goal they got was a real killer. But Shells, I thought, actually were really good. They made a really good account for themselves, but it's kind of been the story of their campaign, making a really good account for themselves or doing games that they should be winning, and they make a silly mistake or they can't be clinical when it matters. Like they're still yet to score in the Conference League, and which is this shouldn't be happening really. Like so, it's been quite disappointing for Shells from that point of view, but. In fairness, they can't really ask more from performance wise, and they kept Troy Parrott quiet, which was good, but a bit strange. Some of the fans booing Troy Parrott at the end. I actually don't. It doesn't bother. Like, so I think it doesn't really bother me, but it's like it was when he was going over. I think he was going over just to wave at the way fans and give them a clap, and if some fans were booing, then I don't mind. I think at the start of the game where it's doing reading out the PR and giving them a wee cheer, way booing him. Then when
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
over, like thanking Irish fans for being there, he he got booed. So, but yeah, not a great night for Shells in that point of view. And then Rovers will feel very, very disappointed they got knocked out of the game against Shakhtar. Shakhtar, in fairness, are an exceptional side. The Brazilian lads they have are some outstanding players. They're good. They're a good watch. But Rovers really went head to head with them and really should have got something out of the game. They should have got a penalty after 2 minutes from a handball in the box. The VAR never checked it. And then obviously Shakhtar went and got the first goal. Went to the second half. Rovers still had more chances. Daddy Grant probably feels he should have got a penalty. And then Shakhtar got a second, which from a deflected free kick, which you can't really do too much about. And then, in fairness, Conor Malley scored a lovely little dink over the keeper to make it 2-1. And you thought, oh, it was like 5 minutes ago it was left, and you thought maybe they'll go get an equaliser. But unfortunately, they couldn't get the equaliser against a very good Shakhtar team. Like 2-1 against Shakhtar, you think it normally wouldn't be a bad result. But in the context of last night, they probably would have hoped maybe got a point anyway because they really had the chances and they really would have felt maybe unjust by the ref and VAR. But massive attendance in Tala last night, over 8,000. A lot of Ukrainians in who've kind of made Ireland their second home, and I seen a thank you era flag from the
In that,
Shakhtar
yeah.
fans. So in fairness, it was great to see that bit of camaraderie between Irish and Ukrainians that were there, and it probably was a massive occasion for those Shakhtar players going to maybe what Ireland has kind of become a second home for Ukraine at this stage after the war. So yeah, so disappointing from an Irish point of view in the Conference League last night. Both teams, in fairness, give a really good account for themselves, but you don't always want to give a really good account for yourselves. Like Rovers played a lot better last night than they did the previous game week against AAK Athens, but they got their point away to Athens, which is more important than giving a good account for yourself like they did last night. And it was interesting to see Arda Turan, ex Barcelona midfielder, on the sideline as manager of Shakhtar Donetsk, which makes me feel a bit old, to be honest. It makes me, of all people, feel a bit old seeing him as a manager. Like I
All
remember him
right.
in the primary, like I remember playing with him in FIFA. So yeah, I'm getting old, Martin.
All right, Jesus. And Shells have obviously got Palace next, haven't they?
Yeah,
That's the big one for
yeah,
them. And there was a little bit of link, tenuous link here. Obviously, Strasbourg hosted Crystal Palace. Omar Bamadeli, obviously Irish international. He got all of 1 minute, or didn't he? Well, came on in the 89th minute, so he got a
yeah,
little bit more than just the 1 minute. But good to see him back, though, I suppose. But is this kind of
yeah,
how a lot of these teams are using it, though? They are using their squads in this, aren't they?
yeah,
They're judging the strength for teams and things like that.
yeah. They're just
So
they're
good to see him
rotating.
back.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to see him back. Even but he played. Came on at halftime at the weekend. And I'm
Mm,
sure Rossini's a bit worried when using Obama because he always has that injury worry, which he kind of probably needs to prove that he can get over
yeah.
these injuries, which I'm sure he will do. But yeah, only what was it, 1 minute last night. The way they play with the back three, they switch their centre backs all the time. They're constantly switching them. Um, 99% of the time, it means if he's not starting in Europe, it means he'll start the league game at the weekend. So I would maybe be a bit more worried if he doesn't start the weekend on Sunday, but I know he will start because that's just the way Rossini goes about his business. And it's a bit like Ruben Amorim, isn't it, Martin, with the three centre halves? He would
Mm.
take one off after like 60 minutes and replace the other with, or even at half time, like he done at the weekend. So, yeah, obviously, probably a game you probably would have wanted to play in from Omo Bamideli's perspective. But massive win for them, though. But, like, it's more important for them to win their league games because they're doing really, really well in the French league. They can see themselves as title challengers at least anyway, because obviously PSG haven't been as good as last season, and Marseille are probably the other team there. So the three of them are probably going to be head to head until maybe the end of the season. So Mobama Dali is more important for him to play in the league, but yeah, you want to see him playing as much minutes as possible.
And Europa League, there was some action there, of course, as well. I caught a little bit of the Villa game where I know we had no Irish involvement, but the young boys fans went to town there, didn't they? Absolutely trying to wreck the place,
Yeah,
fighting with the police and everything. Don't like to see that, of course. But you know what I'm going to say. Fenerbahce were in action, weren't they?
yeah, I've
They
seen that.
hosted Robbie Keane's
Um,
Ferencvaros. You
and
know what
who
I'm going
came
to
off the
say?
bench?
Exactly. Got yellow card as well. Callum O'Dowda on at 60 minutes. Yellow card. Did you catch up on any more of that? Is there any other note from that performance?
No, but they remained unbeaten
Mm,
in the Europa League. So fair play to Robbie Keane's men, who are doing really, really well. He's doing a really good job. Um, like Fenerbahce away from home is
yeah.
not an easy game to say, Martin, isn't it? Just
No,
looking
no.
at the table, they currently sit sixth in the Conference League table, which is actually probably not is a poor reflection of where actually the way it sits. They're a sixth, but Leon, who are currently first, are on 12 points on Fenerbahce on 11, so they're 1 point off top spot. Basically, you can say
Yeah.
unbeaten. Robbie Keane's doing a really good job. Obviously, it's good to see Callum back. Hopefully, he lasts this time. No, not it's just his
Mm.
body seems to not hold up all that well, but he never seems to get serious injuries. So it's always like 2-3 weeks, and then he's back again. And then he lasts one game, and he's back, and then he's gone. But yeah, good to see Robbie Keane doing a good job with Ferencvaros. Very good, impressive point away to Fenerbahce. So I'm sure you're delighted with Cod getting back into action.
Yeah, I am. I think it's a question, hasn't it, for Heimer now? It just posed a question. I think he's a long way down the pecking order now, though, isn't he? You think of the left hand side, if Robbie Brady can get back for March, Ryan Manning, of course, as well. So, and even like the likes of Liam Scales, his performance was very good against Hungary, of course. So, we have got players who can kind of step up into that position, and I think yeah, it's a pretty long way back for O'Dowda just to the fitness stuff. It's a little bit like Omar Bamadelli. It's just slipping down that pecking order because their bodies just letting them down at the moment. But the other one I noticed was Roma in action against Midgetland. Um, he came off the bench. Evan Ferguson, 62 minutes. Did you catch up with any of that?
Yeah, I had it on my
Okay.
laptop last night whilst I was watching Shells on the TV, and yeah, he couldn't really do much when he came on. Midtjylland actually were really, really pushing to get an equaliser. Then Aroma got the second, which El Shaarawy probably should have passed to Evan, to be honest, for Evan to get a tap in, but he won himself. In fairness, he scored. But in my selfish point of view, I wanted Evan to get the goal. Midtjylland were kind of pushing. Evan wasn't really in the game. He won a couple of fouls. He was tidy in possession when he had it, but he couldn't really get in the game. And then obviously Midtjylland got the goal back to make it 2-1, and I think El Shaarawy hit the crossbar again. So like Midtjylland obviously good side. Like the players like Philip Billing, Bournemouth midfielder playing with Midtjylland. Kevin and Babu used to play for Fulham. You saw us play against Ireland for Switzerland fullback. So Midtjylland are actually quite a strong side and some very good players. So they really put it up to Roma. So it was sort of game the last half an hour when Evan was coming on. He was kind of playing on the halfway line sort of job. So wasn't really a game for what he was in, but another 30 minutes in the legs, which is more important. Massive game on Sunday. Napoli. Him against a potential opposition striker for March and Rasmus Højlund. We all know Evan's a better player, but hopefully he can prove it on Sunday. And then obviously Scott McTominay with a Scottish point of view, where hopefully we might face him in the World Cup. But yeah, Napoli on Sunday, top of the table clash, isn't it, in Italy? Roma currently sit top, so that'll be interesting. I'm sure he'll come start that game. Imagine the fact he played 30 at the weekend, 30 midweek there last night. Unless maybe he's not, unless they're just building his minutes up slowly, unless he gets like 45 or something. But imagine they'll give him 60 minutes anyway on Sunday to get him back in the swing of things, which is great to see him back fit and he's looking sharp since he's come back, which is more important than anything. And yeah, massive weekend ahead. But you forgot about someone else. There was another game on yesterday in the Europa League.
What was that one?
Someone's final game ever, probably as a manager. Hanging his managerial boots up.
Oh God, yes, yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I think I've seen a little bit of the Celtic noise on socials. Yeah, Martin O'Neill, fantastic result though, to be fair, and a lot of Celtic fans I think are calling for him that he should have been kept on basically and rewarded with. Are they in a cup final? Show you my knowledge of.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, to be sure. Johnny Kelly scored twice or scored in this.
So yeah, they were saying, oh, he should have been given the final to go out in with that glorious win, is what they're expecting. But yeah, Martin O'Neill, former Ireland manager, of course, 3-1 win away from home for them. And fair play to him. He's got in there. He's a bit of a dinosaur, of course. As we look, being honest, he all this. He doesn't like a XG, and where I mean that, I'm not meaning that too disparaging. When you hear Martin O'Neill talk, as we know, he's very old school. It's all Brian Clough stuff. Brian Clough 70s kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's that kind of mantra of a little bit like John Giles as well. It's a football. It's a simple game. Why do we complicate it? It's very old school. And that's the way he just approaches it. No stress with social media, although he's on it, of course. And making a name for himself in the media with his comments on TalkSport, of course. But fair play to him. He's gone in there, just kept it simple, I would guess. And look, it's probably not hard to do that in Scotland. But yeah, a 3-1 win for him. And confirmed afterwards, I think that, he doesn't expect to be in charge for future games. So I don't know who they announced as the Celtic manager. Do you know?
Boy, it's the Columbus Crew manager, Wilfred Nancy.
Right, okay.
So he seemed to be a good appointment for Celtic, but yeah, coach. There's a coach at them that's going to Celtic, isn't it? There's a ex-Irish at 21.
Oh yes, yes, seen that.
Is it? It's Ethan Ampadu. Ethan Ampadu's father, isn't it?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So Ethan Ampadu from Leeds, obviously his father played Ireland on 21, and he's going in as a coach.
Plays for Wales, doesn't he? And he should have been with us, basically.
Very strange one, isn't
it? Yeah.
But anyway, he's gone in as an assistant with your boy Wilfred. I know he hasn't been announced yet, but he'll be going with him. But your poor Martin has gone out the door. But in fairness, he's gone out in style. He's got them to a cup final. They're back in the title race in Scotland. They're all but true in the Europa League. So he's fairness. Like, as much as I like to criticize him and have a laugh at him, he's done well since he's gone in, and fair play to him. He has definitely steadied the ship anyway. And the reality is at Celtic, all you need to do is steady the ship, and you'll win matches. Like, because they always have the players to do it. Obviously, you could see Scales getting on 90 minutes last night. Unfortunately, Johnny Kenny didn't play at all. there's probably a bit of a worry there now that now Ian Nacho's back. Will he slip down the pecking order? But I think he's earned himself a chance to keep in that number 9 spot, and a tough game away at home. Like Feyenoord would be a good side, and Robin van Persie managing them. I think his son Shaquille made his debut last night for them as well. So they're a decent side, obviously in Dutch terms, and a very good result for. I've seen some people saying an iconic result. I don't know if that's iconic, to be honest with you. I just think it's a very, very good result going away and beating them. But yeah, fair play to Martin O'Neill. I wish him the best in his return to media, which will probably be a
Well,
bit
look, it'd
depressing.
be interesting. You know, like he's got the book out as well, isn't it? His
Yeah,
take on modern football
hopefully
as
he's
well.
learned
Look,
stuff.
I
Hopefully he's learned
hopefully,
what. Hopefully he's learned that football, like, not to be bad, but hopefully he's learned that you have to use stats and you have to do. Like, I don't want to sound bad, but I'm sure Sean Maloney, who was there as assistant too, was
mm,
recently Wigan manager, has played a massive part in how to set up and how to press and how to. Obviously, any manager triggers and pressing has always been, but the modern day advancements, I'm sure Sean Maloney played a big part in their tactics
yeah,
and their coaching.
that part of it must have been that. You know, I think O'Neill did that with Ireland as well. Very much motivational, saying, "Look, come on now," and whatever. You know, he's not tactically game changing things. So I don't think so anyway. You know, just the harsh words probably when needed, motivational.
To
And
tell him
you know,
about
it's not
Brian Clough and all he's won
Brian Clough, yeah,
in
what he did.
could you imagine his pre-match speeches?
But to be fair, though, I think he just was good with probably good with that, you know, and you know, you can put the medals on the table with your Martin O'Neill. And I know he goes on about it a lot, but no, it'd be interesting now to see how he comes back because, you know, if he'd had a horrendous run of results, there would have been media scrutiny of that decision. It was to balance the ship, basically. They're a club in crisis. They had loads of trouble, didn't they, with the AGM, and the fans aren't happy. So, you know, bringing back a legend, it buys you time. You know, it's a little bit like Man United did that with Ollie and having Ryan Giggs in there over time. So, you know, it just settles the ship. Ireland have done it to some respect when you put in an interim manager like John O'Shea and you think, well, John O'Shea's so lovely, you can't really hammer him for a while unless it just goes wrong. Now, it didn't go wrong with O'Neill, but it's an interesting one. And he'll go back to, you know, he's probably never had that media hammering him. You know, his media press conferences, I think he fell asleep in one of them, didn't he? And
Yeah.
you know, and little quips and funny things. He just doesn't give a shit. He doesn't need to. He can say, I don't really need this. I'm coming in to do you a favor. But it's quite funny now because I think if he had been a kind of younger man, perhaps looking for the job again, or more inexperienced manager without the kind of successful career behind him, he could have been open to scrutiny, and then he would have seen how you manage in the modern day, how you get absolutely hammered. I mean, it's a long time ago thinking about it. Like, when was it? 2018? When was it? 2019 when he was gone with Ireland. So he's out of like management for such a long time. I know he was at Forest and things like that, but he couldn't handle it there. You know, the media scrutiny, like which Keith Andrews, for example, his kind of nemesis, is open to. You know, O'Neill's never had the brunt of that, I don't think, as a manager. He's had Forest fans on his back. He's had Ireland fans a little bit when it was going wrong at the end on his back, but not with any vitriol, really. So when a manager is under pressure, you know, you get the media absolutely hammering you. Everyone's kind of forcing you out. He never really has had that experience, and maybe that's why he won't understand maybe the pressures the likes of Keith Andrew has, or the people that he's obviously quite scathing of and critical of. One thing I did see, just and I'm just I know I sometimes throw these at you, and we're going to still obviously chat about the lads in championship action and you know, in England, of course, and I want to chat to about Conor Doherty as well, who scored, didn't he, for Liverpool in the Youth Champions League thing. But I did see Man United recently. I know they do a podcast, don't they? Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes with Paddy McGuinness. I don't even know what it's called actually, but they said they were talking about the Man United job, and that they're a mate. Nicky Butt was saying, although he's a mate of mine, he can't believe that Man United haven't ever thought about bringing Roy Keane in as manager. What's your thoughts on that, Connor? I mean,
That's crazy. That is crazy. Like,
yeah,
it'd be great that Roy Keane is Man United manager because you have an Irishman managing the biggest club in the world.
yeah,
But like, come on, what you have
yeah.
to, or you have to, unless it was an Ollie job where it's an interim and you bring him on a short term basis and stuff. But like, No.
Well, the clip I saw of this was, I mean, I will listen to the full show, and when people go, "Oh, you're judging it on just a clip," and that's how obviously you can judge podcasts. And be sure to check out our clips as well, because that hopefully brings you in, especially when some of Connor's rants, as we've had in the past. But it was just saying that Roy was successful with Sunderland, successful with Ireland as the assistant, of course. But what he brings to it is, he's a clever guy, and that he would bring in top coaches with him, and he would do the management part of it, the inspirational kind of thing. But as a United fan, and I know this is obviously Lansdowne Raw we're talking about, but we have people who are coming in. He's gone in there. He's gone in there with Ollie, like a little bit of a chat. He's gone in there, I think, under Ten Hag. United have had Roy around there chatting to players. I think famously he said, like, he could see lads just zoning out and stuff, and he thought that's not a Man United player for me, kind of thing. He hasn't named and shamed any of them people, but yeah, I just think sometimes when people are talking about Roy Keane and his influence, they get carried away and they forget how out of the game he's been. He's not been in it for a while, actually, in the management. A little bit like what I was saying about Martin O'Neill. If you're not in it day to day and you're not aware of this new media kind of attention. I mean, Arne Slot won the league last year for Liverpool. They've been awful, but he's absolutely getting hammered, isn't he? Social media with fans just turn so quick. And while I'm going to bring this back to Ireland fans, is we're going to chat about this more on our live show, which is on Monday, I think, this week. It was interesting to see, wasn't it, the new director of football with Ireland coming in and talking on off the ball and saying about Heimer, and saying they like a lot of the stats are backing up that Heimer's doing a fantastic job. They like what he's about, that he probably will be rewarded with a new contract as well. So it's just an interesting one. Some this media attention. Right, back to the football, Conor.
Yeah.
Conor Doherty, he was playing for Liverpool. First goal, winning goal. First goal, only goal, I mean, for Liverpool in a 1-0 win. That's a great experience as well, isn't it? We've talked about this competition as well. This is where they basically match up the Champions League games at youth level. Brilliant for him, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, great goal for him. He's now Liverpool's second all-time top goal scorer in UEFA Youth League history. I think Curtis Jones is the only player that scored more. I think he's second most appearances as well. I believe he's on course to, if he plays all the group games, he will match Curtis Jones' record for the most appearances in the competition. And then obviously in the knockout stages, he would break that record, which would be actually a decent accomplishment, which though you'd hope he might go out on loan in January and get some men's experience. But in fairness, he done very well. I watched the game the other day. Very dangerous as always. Liverpool didn't play that great. PSV were quite defensive. But yeah, massive header, 90th minute winning header. Something you wouldn't expect from Trent Conor-Doherty, but you'd see it by his real aggression and his tenacity and his belief in himself when he plays. He doesn't mind getting up and trying to get ahead of the ball. And it was lovely, like he flicked it backwards with the back of his head, a bit like Chikorito Hernandez done actually for United once against Stoke, if you remember back in the day.
Backwards header.
It was
brilliant.
Yeah, so that was the sort of header Conor-Doherty scored the other day. So yeah, really good header. He's doing really, really well at Liverpool at the moment. He's developing really rapidly, very fast. And then obviously it's just about getting into men's football now and getting the right loan move. I know he could have went on loan in the summer, but I think maybe Liverpool wanted to wait on the right loan move rather than just send him out on loan anywhere just to get men's football. So yeah, he's doing really well. He's been a star player in the academy for the last 3-4 years at Liverpool ever since he signed for them, and has been really good for the Ireland 21s, and particularly the last camp he was against England. He got man of the match, and even the Andorra embarrassment, he was the only really Irish player I thought that maybe made a good account for himself that day. So yeah, Trent's progressing really nicely, doing really well at Liverpool. He made his Anfield debut last month in the Cup, and I do think big things are coming from it. It's just about getting into men's football. If he's going to go on loan in January, making sure it's the right loan move, or I couldn't imagine Liverpool will just leave him in the 21s for the rest of the season. So yeah, I think he'll get a loan move in January.
All right, good to hear. Cup action as well, like you said. So he could get FA Cup starts again. I always talk about this on the show. I'm a big believer in that. You get a lot of opportunities, depending who they get, that they can afford to bring in. I mean, he got hammered for that, didn't he, when they got knocked out of the Carabao Cup, Arne Slot, for doing that, really. So they've got they're probably a cup team this year now, aren't they, Liverpool?
Yeah, well, hopefully they get like a Accrington Stanley or a non-league side in the cup, and they can and they can maybe give Trent a chance and then go out because this usually is early January. The cup's
Yeah,
on, so maybe get play in the cup and then go out and loan, which would be good for his profile. But yeah, he's doing really well. Hopefully, he can continue to develop
yeah,
at the rate he's
that's
currently going at. But
that's
Martin,
what we want to see. Yeah, come on.
championship is what
Yes.
else was. We've seen Finn Azaz get back to his best for Southampton, which is great to see. Southampton battered Leicester. What was it, 3-0 on Tuesday night? Manning assisted to Taylor Howard Bellis's headers. Roy Keane's son-in-law, obviously, and Manning with two brilliant assists, two exceptional balls into the box where he headed home, and then Azaz with a lovely finish, doing really really well at the moment. Another example of a player that the Southampton fans hated him for a while, and now they're back loving him again, and he's been really really good ever since
Mm.
that last 20 minutes in Hungary where he
Yep.
stepped up
Confidence.
and he ran the show. His confidence has gone to another level, and he's been exceptional over the last two games for Southampton since coming back from international duty. 2 goals at the weekend in the first half, a goal in the first half the other day, and fair play to Gavin Mizuno, kept a clean sheet, his first clean sheet since the new managers came in, and made one absolutely exceptional save, which was good to see. And then obviously Leicester went down to 10 men, which kind of actually came from Azaz. He was played a nice ball by Fellows, and then he put a lovely ball like in behind, and then Fellows beat the man like just for pace to the ball. The boy had to pull him down, but if Azaz didn't put that kind of perfect true ball through, he wouldn't have got sent off. So yeah, Azaz doing really well, Manning doing well, Bazunu doing really well, Martin. So yeah, you happy with them lads
Yeah.
at Southampton?
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. I mean, Bazunu, you called it, to be fair. You did say he'd be getting back in as number one. Don't ever doubt Conor. But he did go in there. Finazaz, I'm just thinking about that, though. Is that going to pose a problem for Heimer? You know, thinking how we had to adapt in game against Hungary. We had to go for it. We won't be doing that from the front from the gate in March, of course. That home game, the away game against Czechia. But we did see him influence the game from that deeper position. I mean, it's a great tactic to be able to have now. But we saw the best of him in that role. But can we play him there from the, can you play him a little bit deeper from the start? And I suppose the conundrum as well for Heimer is if Evans 100% fit and Troy's fit, is he going to be tempted to play them both? There's a lot of, we want the lads fit, of course, but we're in a good position with that, and with Finn Azaz flying form now with that. It's a phrase I use a lot, isn't it? Flying form, as you know, Connor.
Yeah, he's
um,
flying forms and flying form.
yeah, right. But that's a good option to have Finners as you can drop him in a little bit deeper where he can get on the ball and influence it. It's like if you did have two up top, and I mean that tactically it was a bit messy in the end in Hungary, but we were going for it. But when you can even drop someone in a little bit deeper like that, I'm trying to think. Jack Byrne was one we called out for that role. Robbie Brady, Wes back in the day, Andy Reid as well. That player can get on the ball and that little moment of magic, that absolute quality pass can be played. I think that's really important for Finn Azaz to get into this team, that he can show that he can do that. And if he's doing it for Southampton, it's brilliant. But scoring
Yeah,
for him as well. I mean, look, again, Sammy Szmodics, I know he's still out and things. Not saying it's the end of his time with Ireland, but similar kind of thing. He's in great form, and but that has never carried into Ireland. I think we did see that from Finn Azaz. So I
yeah,
think a slow start at Southampton, though, and people are probably
yeah,
thinking, well, what's happening there? But a move doesn't always work out straight away. So yeah, I think it's a
yeah.
good thing for him.
Yeah, and people aren't kind of, or you see a lot of comments on social media saying he better not play him as a left winger come March and
Yeah,
stuff. You're taking away from us. You better well not play him at all. So,
yeah,
yeah. So he's doing really well. And the thing is, how do you fit him in as a number 10 in this team? But yeah, he's doing really well, and hopefully he can continue to do that. But other lads in Championship, Barton midweek, Boston Noel made his first appearance since coming back. Came on in the 45th minute for Stoke against Charlton. Will Mott, the
brilliant.
centre half, went off injured, so Boston came on centre half. So it was good to see him get 45 minutes in the leg, and great to see. Darrow O'Shea had a good win with Ipswich away to Hull. Jack Taylor came off the bench and assisted the second goal, which is good to see. Um, other than that, of all note, Ida only got a few minutes on Tuesday night against Derby in a loss for Swansea, so they haven't. I know they've got a new manager, but not been a great start really to life there. On Wednesday, Ida Maku started for Millwall. He's building up. He could be a dark horse, maybe to break into the March squad, the wing options we have currently. Tom Cannon actually started for Sheffield United on against
Yeah.
Portsmouth. He didn't score, but supposedly he played well. I didn't see the game. Jimmy Mack and Wrexham had a massive victory against Bristol City on Wednesday night. It was interesting that obviously the links with Jimmy going back to possibly going back to Derry City in January, depending on how it goes till January with Wrexham, and it's not looking good for Derry point of view at the moment because obviously if he's playing week in week out for them, he's not going to go back to Ireland. Like, he's going to stay at Wrexham. But I know that
Yeah.
the left wing back Cacachi that they signed in the summer, the Italian, is out injured at the moment, so probably that's why Jimmy's starting. They beat obviously Bristol City. Sinclair came on for the last half an hour. James McLean tried to attack him on the pitch, and then Jason Knight came on for 20 minutes as well. Mark Sykes started. Other than that, actually, Jimmy Dunn is back playing centre half for QPR at the moment. QPR fans are saying he's been a lot better since going back to centre half, which is quite interesting. I never thought he'd ever go back to centre back because I do think maybe long term right back is where he's going to play at the highest level possible. And yeah, Mikey Johnson started for West Brom in the, what you say, a Birmingham derby, or I know what West Brom
The Midlands
technically isn't.
derby, yeah.
Midlands derby, at the weekend, and yeah, so it was kind of a
Lumby
busy.
was obviously out suspended for
Yeah,
that one, was he?
suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but he'll be back at the weekend. He was 2 yellows, and that
Yeah.
was kind of all it really. There was not a huge, like, there were a couple of other involvements in the youth league. Jade Numa made his first appearance, came back for Benfica, came on off the bench against Ajax. They beat Ajax 4-0, which is quite crazy. The fact that it didn't have to start Jaden. And yesterday they won the Under 17 World Cup, and they had 9 players from Benfica playing in the Under 17 World Cup team for Portugal, who won it. So technically, did 10 players not start, and that could have been on the team, and they go away to Ajax and beat Ajax 4-0. That shows the level of player they
Yeah.
have. And yeah, actually, that last night, Dara Burns scored his first goal for Grimsby in a 2-1 loss to Tranmere. Joe Murphy made an outstanding save from Burns, actually. A 44-year-old playing weekly still in League Two is quite crazy, to be fair. And then Josh Keeley, as Luton beat Huddersfield 2-1 on Tuesday night as well. So they're starting to pick up a bit of form. So hopefully they'll be in a title race come the end of the season. But yeah, not a huge amount of Irish involvement this midweek, Martin. But a few lads did impress at least.
Yep. Okay. National League South, Keane Dillon, 60 minutes. Enfield Town. 2-1 win for Enfield Town. Yeah, coming down from 1-0 down. All right. Don't forget that. All right. I want him included on Obig. Keane Dillon, under 21 Ireland player. Want him included. Okay. He's playing first team football. Get that corrected, please.
You leave to say it yourself.
Yeah, I had a good chat with him.
When his 28-day loan is up, you'll never speak of him ever again. You'll never speak of him ever again.
I spoke about him. You know what? I'm gonna give myself a little pat on the back here. I told Enfield Town he went to Torquay. Remember, I think you told me that he's gone to Torquay, and I mean he's still playing with QPR's development squad and things like that. But I said to them, you need to get Keane Dillon back, and because he was on loan there, and he didn't work out there, didn't play. And, you know, we are looking, and we got a good relationship with QPR. So they managed to get him back because he's familiar with the club. Very brave, solid, very, very good, I thought. It's definitely, you know, he's back, and he's Enfield have won the last 2. And they are kind of just getting themselves out of a relegation battle now. But yeah, I think he does understand it all, and he's done really, really well up there. It's difficult. That level, of course, probably what he's used to, but he brings class to it, to be very fair. So I'm hoping he's going to link up. Well, they're playing 2 up front now as well, so he's going to play with the other striker, Lamar Reynolds. So yeah, it's all good. There you go. That's your National League round up there, Connor. All right, you've got to start focusing on this, my friend. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Anything else this morning, Connor? Anything else of note that what we got coming up?
No.
Busy festive period, as we said. We've got Ian Hart again coming up next Thursday. live in the Claddering in Hendon. So if you do want to join us there, but we will have a live show up before then, following all the football over the weekend, of course. And if you do want to support the page, just one more shout out there. You can buy us a coffee, the link in the description. If you want to get a bit more extra for your Lansdowne Raw Plus is where you need to get on. Again, link in the description. You can support that. We've got a few surprises coming up in December, but we do really appreciate your support of Raw Faithful. It's been a fantastic international window for Ireland, and it was great catching up with so many of the Raw Faithful. We love doing the lives and getting your interaction. We've kind of created a little Raw Faithful kind of group now, and fantastic to hear from you on our live show. So make sure you do join us. I think we're going to go on Monday, I think, this week, where we're going to be chatting all things Irish football. We'll go a little bit deeper into the kind of news from Heimer, the speculation about him getting a new contract with Ireland, and we'll obviously cover Obig and how the lads got on over the weekend. But Conor, thanks to you for your early morning wake up and for your input today. And make sure, please, again, that you do subscribe to the channel. Look forward to the weekend of football, and we'll catch up with you soon. Come on, you boys in green.